What is good? What is good, ladies and gentlemen? This is the Blackman Show, a place where we can dissect the news with a little bit of 7 cents. And I wanted to start off with an apology for this one coming out late. Wifey and I have been hard at work and we're getting ready to do a little bit of playing. Take that how you will. So things just kind of got delayed as a result. But we are here. So smash that like button like it's your only chance with your high school crush who has still got it. What's good, Sybil? And look, I've got lofty goals, but they are goals nonetheless. I am looking to get to 2,500 subs. I know I'm barely at 450, but I'm dreaming bigger.
Bitch, you thinking small. We need to be thinking big. You need to be thinking big, bitch. You need to be thinking big, bitch. Think big, bitch.
So if you're feeling what I'm spitting, help to keep your boy in the building and share this work with your people. But without further ado, let us continue. So we're seeing a lot of things popping out on Amazon's interwebs these days, such as seemingly scamming lying Ninja Turtles, making fame on dating shows who talk a little greasy to ladies in order to launch his ultimate scam of saying he lost his master plumbing position due to the outcry of sisters calling his place of employment, resulting in his termination. Since then, the man has put up a GoFundMe account that had amassed several $1,000s to his maintenance before being suspended. The jury's still out as to what the man is really on, but I'm sure the queen of accountability will find out soon enough. Then we got the recent story out of Houston where apparently 42,000 people apparently were diagnosed with an STD over the weekend that was quickly overshadowed by Kendrick's Juneteenth pop out on Amazon. And that's some heinous information to find out. I mean, imagine the amount of jokes and online content by creators jumping in hopes to be the first to report this surely viral news to a hungry audience eager to consume the salacious.
What is the long-term effect of too much information? One of the effects is the need to be first, not even to be true anymore.
But the truth is, while everyone is champing at the bit, which is the correct way to say that idiom, word nerd shit, to get the story out, none of these people took the time to investigate. Quick story, see. So when I first graduated, I had a degree in accounting and finance, so I was looking for a degree, any sort of job I could in somewhere in that space, right? And anytime I would interview, I would get the question of, you know, would you rather be right or be on time or something like that? And I'm like, personally, I would say like I would rather be right. And most of the time when I would say I'd rather be right, I didn't get the job. I don't know. I guess I took that to realize that a lot of people would rather you be wrong and on time than to be right. And I can actually illustrate that a little bit further because when, you know, so if you all don't know, I'm one of the brothers of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, and as such, during our process, I won't get into a whole of it, but during one part of it in particular, I remember one of my brothers being asked to provide a certain list of information. So he provided that list of information, and he was so wrong when he did it, but he was so on time as he did it that the big bros just kept hyping him up and giving him props for doing it. So it just seems weird that this is the mindset that people were having in the field of accounting, especially, mind you, this was shortly after the whole Enron Arthur Anderson thing. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. That just seemed kind of a weird mindset that people were still maintaining for positions that I ultimately didn't get. Now, as for my frat brother, I mean, look, ultimately he was wrong in his production, but he was on time, and you know, some people are okay with that. I'm just not one of them. Now, so for those of you who would like to know, no, there weren't 42,000 STD diagnoses in Houston. Actually, the truth is very unsalacious when you look at what the numbers represent. These are actually the numbers of STD tests performed over that weekend. That's all. Nothing really left to see. And I'm not sitting here saying that I always get it right. So, you know, but if I'm wrong, I'll admit as much. But that's not what we're seeing, right? So the panic, excitement, and salacious sharing simply sailed into the 7 seas of sayonara as we salivate for something else to stimulate us. My point in bringing these up, other than the fact that the interactions with stories like these represent a segment of the internet is that they all show how quickly it seems some of us are to run to a believable story, jump behind it with our support or even our dollars, only to find out that person who sounded like they had the big brain or who sounded good or who actually may be making some sound points, but it's difficult to differentiate the good shit from the bullshit, that you're not sure if these people know their asshole from their areola. And look, Umar, let's be real. You've been collecting and have collected somewhere around maybe, $5 million to this point, Jermaine, and had the nerve to come here to Kansas City and say that you're going to do the same. Now, what exactly was you going to do? What, not open up a school here, but tell people in other states that you got crews working on it while they continue to give you donations for the children to learn? Anyway, I'm sorry, I'm getting off the subject. But my point is the fact that we need to exercise more discernment when it comes to listening to these people in front of us with a microphone. Present company included. Hell, if I'm not making sense, I hope you would at least tell me, or at worst, not give my nonsense air to breathe. But then again, I'm not a sociopath. I mean, it's nice to know we live in a country where you can be free to say whatever you want. But I think the retribution for some of these actions should be better regulated, or at least come with a bullshit advisory sticker. To that extent, we have to talk about a couple people who really should have less attention than they currently have. Of course, that's after you check out this content. Smash that like button. But those two are journalist Ebony K Williams and actor Terrance Howard. For reasons. They've been provided microphones and given a chance to speak. Well, what have you got to say, Ebony?
Single motherhood by choice is going to be an option that more and more Black women consider and even exercise. So anybody that's in their feelings about that can go ahead and start to process right now.
Now, mind you, this is from a woman who's too good for a bus driver, instead voluntarily vying for single motherhood. And then we've got Terrance Howard, who said,
1 times 1 equaling 1 is an unbalanced equation.
And to that I say, what the hell are either of these people talking about? So we'll look at Ebony first. The recently fired journalist of The Grill, most notably known for her stance on bus drivers.
Would you date a bus driver? Would you date
if
a bus
he owns
driver?
the bus? If he owns
No.
it. If he owns the bus.
See, that's a problem. That's a problem.
Has taken on the task of becoming a single mother in 2024. And while I honestly have zero to say in particular about that lady and how she runs her life, I can't say that she's putting out a message that resonates, but is single, ready to sprinkle really the message that we need right now? People like this seem to want to be right. So they go on whatever podcast or show they can to say to the world that they are. But is that really the message that we need? Do we really need to go out into the world to validate our bad decisions because the person in the mirror is too loud saying the other stuff that we don't want to hear? I mean, because let's be real. Being a single mother is no walk in the park. It's more like an endless and sometimes thankless marathon where hurdles made of bills and team practices, crap-filled diaper bombs, and sleepless nights with no one to pass the baton to. Because the fact is, many single mothers face significant challenges. And let's be real, Ebony, you could probably do this and make it look like a great decision. And maybe it is for someone of your supposed financial level. I don't know how much money you make, and I ain't trying to count your pockets. But do you know who doesn't have your money? You other people, you people who are watching this right now. Well, at least that is according to the amount of debt that you have compared to the amount of income on average. And you know us. If we don't have it, we will fake it till we make it, because we have to look like we made it for some reason. So when people can't afford Gucci and Prada, they hit up Shein and Temu for that nada. Same with parenting. Some of us know somebody right now that ain't got no business having children, let alone doing it by themselves. But seriously, children raised by single mothers often face higher risks of poverty, lower educational achievement, and behavioral issues. I mean, a bus driver can provide a great amount of stability and love that money just can't buy. But we know that you're looking for status, right, Ebony?
Most of us, contrary to popular belief, don't just want a man. We want the man that we want. We want a man that we desire. We want a man that we're actually attracted to, physically, emotionally, psychologically, intellectually. And if you're not that, you know what I mean?
A whole lot to ask. Nowadays.
It is a lot to ask.
It's not a lot to ask.
I actually think it is.
No.
What does it say from either perspective, however you look at it, when somebody would rather forego having a relationship with a bus driver to instead be a single mom and then go on all the airwaves to tell everybody about it? Because I know the message that you want to send is that I'm 40 something and don't have a man, but because I have money, I'll buy myself a baby while still talking in this gruff, masculine, First Missionary Baptist deaconess bored tone while wondering why no one wants to deal with me. I mean, seriously, if you close your eyes, you don't know if you listen to Sunday service or divorce court.
When we hurry, we usually make more mistakes than we would had if we had taken more time. So in the end, we end up using more time than we would have if we would have slowed down to start with.
Can't make people do right by you, but you can decide how often you let them do you wrong, and you keep letting them do you wrong.
Then we got to deal with whatever the hell is going on with Terrence Howard. Is he the real Iron Man taking new technology to Africa that still hasn't worked in over 2 years? Or is he a man crying for help and maybe simple attention? Or is he doing years and years of the most dedicated character build that we've ever seen? So if you're unaware, Terrence is a Hollywood actor best known for his roles in Dead Presidents, Hustle and Flow, and Iron Man. And I don't know if him feeling shunned by the last mentioned movie's lead channeled some of his upstagemanship energies, but lately your boy Terry has been hitting the podcast and even freaking university of all places, spewing his seemingly nonsensical ideologies about math, science, and the flower of life.
Oh my goodness. They didn't open the flower properly. So the next one would be the icosahedron.
Now, the flower of life, it's very, very old. The concept is very old. What was the origin of the concept?
It's the oldest symbol known to mankind. It's believed that it was Anki, the brother of Enlil, if you go by the Emerald
Sumerian
tablets.
text.
Yeah, the Sumerian text. That was the one that created mankind. Because if you look at mankind, and there's a point I want to make with it. I want you to stay on the book, go back to go to 134 on the book.
And not to be outdone, this dude was recently on the Joe Rogan podcast, and I'm sure you can find some people doing a great breakdown of the 3-hour appearance that he had. But I just wanted to highlight a couple things real quick. So the man came in hot talking about his birth story. And I don't mean like what his mother told him. I mean what he says that he remembered. He says he remembers light and being in the space and seeing his hand and calling his hand his friend and remembering that and all that. And he remembers all this before the brain was even developed and has function to that capacity, mind you. But, you know, Terrence is special. So he remembers this. And then his proof of this was the fact that when his wife was pregnant with his child, he was flashing a light onto his wife's belly, you see, and the child kept gravitating toward the light. And when he take the light away, the child would be looking for the light. And then when the child came out, now the child knows the square root of 2 and 3 and 4. I'm not sure how those two connect. Then he's like overloading the whole conversation with keywords and buzzwords galore, saying things about isotopes, which he uses incorrectly. Throws out the word quantum a lot. Linchpin, because that's his, I guess that's his technology that will redo everything.
All thanks to the hydrogen linchpin bonding geometry that he was able to discover.
Apparently his technology is so great, it's the nanobots from Marvel, you see. He talks about the geometry of elements, platonic solids, all of that stuff. Then he talks about how the elements have sounds and color. I don't know. Kanye at one point did talk about how he doesn't hear as much as he sees sound and something like that. And I think there is a study of that, something to that degree about a sound having certain colors and things like that. So I don't know, but the jury is out on that part. And then as proof of some of his claims are based on his patents. Terrence, I don't know if you know this, but there are also patents for wearable rodent clothing and mouse traps with guns attached. So are these people credible also? Maybe they are. I'm just saying. And let's not forget about his math, where he says that 1 × 1 is 2. So I don't know about you, but like I said, I have a degree in accounting, and I might know at least how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide. At least I can do that fairly well. So I could have sworn that multiplication is nothing more than like advanced addition when you think about it, because all multiplication is telling you how many times a thing occurs. That's why we learn what is called, or what are called, the times tables. Remember the times tables? What is 5 × 5 in Terry math? In Terry math, yes, that is a real thing. But dude, if you can't even, how can we even rely on your numbers if you can't even get your own viewership right for when you were on Empire?
CAA represented me. Mm-hmm. They also represented some of the people from Big Bang Theory. Mm-hmm. They also did the deal with Fox. Mm-hmm. My show was with Fox. The people from Big Bang was with Fox. Mm-hmm. We had 28 million viewers. They had 11 million viewers. Yeah. They were getting $2 million, damn near $3 million an episode, those white kids that had no name recognition, no Oscar nominations, none of that. We have 28 million viewers, and these jokers are paying me $325,000 an episode.
I mean, hell, for all we know, you may have gotten paid more, but with your math, you see, it was the math that said it was less, man. But you actually may have made more, man. You know, man. And look, I won't go as far as saying that Terrence is a raving lunatic who obviously needs direction, guidance, and probably real therapy. I'll only think it. But I will say that if I think I know something that's relatively complex and I want you to get it, I'd find something that we all know about and try to relate the new thing to something that you already know. That's how you bring people along. That's called relativity. That's how you get people to relate to the thing. But like I said, your boy Terrence, he was talking here the whole time. He was up here the whole time. But your boy Terry seems to be so caught on himself and his theories that he can't see how crazy he sounds. And it's sad to see. Now, I've said it several times. I'm no longer a counselor. I've been one for years. And, you know, when you see somebody who seems to talk incessantly about themselves, who seems to always know the answer, regardless of the question, who seems to think that you can conjugate waves the way that you conjugate verbs, who always has to act as if they are the special one, who even at the end of a 3-hour podcast won't stop talking, you may be dealing with somebody with attention issues. Maybe. I mean, let's not forget when he started draking his abuse charges when nobody spoke about it. You know what I mean? Drake, when they said PDF file, you said Millie Bobby Brown. Nobody else did. And Terrence did the same thing in regard to his DV charges. Nobody brought that up, Terry. You did. So this man goes on this show and onto these platforms spewing absolute nonsense to the point where apparently he's able to contract with a country to produce a new type of drone that as of yet has not seen the light of day. And he does this all unchecked. Okay, I can't say completely unchecked. At least Dr. Neil deGrasse Tyson gave him some critiques that basically said
1 × 1 = 2.
1 × 1 = 2.
This is an ambitious work that is a clear indication of a restless, active mind. It can never occur that the square root of a given number, when added to itself, is greater than the initial number squared, for that would expose a loose thread within the fabric of our understanding. That's a bold statement. So then I just say, this opening thesis is false. There are plenty of examples of this that have escaped your attention, to the extent that the next 35 pages depends on your stated thesis. This fact undermines your claims and assumptions and conclusions.
It basically said he was talking out of his ass, but largely we have people saying things that can not only go viral, but that can impact the community in ways that don't speak to the excellence that we aim to represent, right? And I get it. Not everybody watching these two or people like them will be heeding their every word and following in lockstep. Sometimes these things go viral because we just love watching car crashes. But there are those of us who think that this is the way to be as well. Single motherhood advice from a journalist who can't keep a man, but has the bread to maybe pay for her to have a better future that you and I can't provide, possibly? Have at it. Sure. Actor who supposedly remembers his own birth, but can't remember how many viewers his show produced, who has some theories on plutonic solids? Well, let's see what he has to say. Hip-hop musical genius known to have bipolar episodes, who married a porno star, who dresses his current wife as a blow-up doll, also has some ideas on slavery. Well, I'm sure this will be absolutely fine. What I'm getting at is, I really hate to say it, but sometimes success in one place ain't always transferable. Ye may be a great hip-hop producer and or MC, but he ain't first on my list to get political info from. I'm sorry. I guess sometimes staying in your lane is ideal, at least for some of these people. I don't know. I guess what it comes down to is what works for you in your life. Is starting your life as a single parent a good thing in today's economy, especially with regard to the goals that you might have in mind? Will having that child help you get to those goals? I mean, if you're Ebony K Williams, I mean, you're already on TV, so don't doubt that you'll be seeing her making content. I mean, posting her baby's pictures often. And if you're ready to delve into the world of science, you may want to follow somebody a little bit more credible. Don't get me wrong, even I follow some backyard scientists on TikTok that have done some interesting things, but even with their discoveries, I understand it a little bit. I have no idea what Terrence Howard is talking about. I don't even know if he's making sense. I mean, some of his sentences sound like, if we're getting backwards, yesterday's time, yes, because everyone upside down if you 12 want to. Alpha. I mean, I just think the man should break it down to where the goats can get it. You know what I'm saying? In the words of Jay-Z, just because you don't understand it, that don't mean that he bright. That just means you don't understand the shit that he writes or something like that. And please, 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 can we avoid all black folks with the uppity inward tone? You know what I'm talking about. Sometimes they talk with a tone that makes it sound like they know a thing or two and they have no problem in getting ready to show you.
Rest in peace.
Oh, they tend to sound like bad versions of Jeffrey from The Fresh Prince as they mispronounce high school level SAT words.
1 × 1.
And they dress like this. Recently I was talking this over with a friend of mine, and I was asked why it matters. Why does it matter that this woman is doing this or this man is saying this? Why do you even care, Seven? I can boil it down to this. We got tons of people getting crazy attention for seeking validation for their bad activity already. And what's the cost that we pay for that attention to the car crashes of life? I guess we'll find out soon enough when Ebony has her baby on live stream with Terrence Howard doing the commentary. All that to say, I just think we should be more mindful from where we derive our messages and use a little discernment in evaluating who is giving the message and why. Are they doing it to seek attention? fame, virality, or are they genuinely knucking futz? But that's it for the show for this week. Let me know what you think of the messages we accept, look for, and pay attention to, and how that compares to what we should be focused on. And that's not just for black people either. That's for everybody. I just know that we could be doing a whole lot better, though. Hit that like button. Peace. And I'm out.